If you watched the latest Helluva Boss Weaboo short, you've probably heard one particular term starting with a C. However, beside that one service description opens up a lot more debated conspiracy surrounding the possibility of a return to the infamous Stolitz ship. But do those theories have any actual merit? Let's find out, shall we? Before we even get into the Stolitz conspiracy, one of the main criticisms that I have for this episode is generally how easily out of nowhere from the second to the third short, Blitzo has been able to out of nowhere essentially open up the portal he received from Asmodeus's lust ring. This feels rather rushed, as to essentially have Blitzo out of nowhere go from Mission Antarctica struggling to open up the portal and needing Moxie to essentially save his skin, to out of nowhere being able to open and close the portal with his gem without establishing any sort of preconceived training, learning, or any sort of ability of being taught by anybody or learning himself. This not only feels rather unnecessarily rushed, but also tarnishes kind of the important message that the Mission Antarctica short was trying to harp on, that being how Blitzo needs more of a proper romantic or platonic bond to properly motivate his lustful ability to use the portal with the gem himself. But having Blitzo additionally struggle to open the portal would have also fit into the quote-unquote cringe aspect of this short they were trying to go for, as they could have easily honed in on this further cringe theme by having Blitzo, after struggling to kill this weeaboo teenager, additionally struggle to open up the portal, thus forcing him to essentially painfully call his daughter Luna for additional help on how to open up the portal, thus further playing into the cringe part of this short. But it would also help contradict Blitzo's previously overconfident persona within the beginning of this short after calling Millie about how he didn't need any help from her in killing the teenager.
Oh, thanks, Mills, but I don't think I need backup to take down some suburban college girl.
When in reality, the actual help he needed wasn't in committing the murder on his own, but actually properly utilizing the very crystal he was given to reach the Earth's border. But overall, aside from my substantiated criticism regarding that, I'm not really too big of a fan about how out of nowhere they established the concept of this like magical demon necklace gem that protects the host from any demon related contact. And while yes, I do expect them to utilize this necklace's power by essentially having it play a much bigger role in future Helluva Boss episodes, by having the IMP gang's enemies such as the secret agents or the cherubs utilizing this necklace to essentially fight off against Blitzo and his crew, and while I don't necessarily think that's a bad idea for future episodes, I myself personally am not really the biggest fan of this rather late necklace anti-demon power introduction, especially for a short of all things, because it's like, hold up, wait a minute, you're telling me that the show is already established that there's members on the human realm who confidently believe in the existence of demons with undeniable video footage to substantiate these beliefs? And not to mention, this group of people also teaming up with previous angel members from heaven in hopes of exterminating these demons, and not once did they ever think in their planned allyship to try and gain access to this so-called demon repelling necklace and test it for themselves. Like what? Like, yeah guys, we the secret agents have a multi-billion-dollar department that allows us to receive enough funding for us to create top-notch weapons and even fund top-tier human cloning abilities, but testing out a so-called demon necklace? No, that's too far. I mean, after all, it's not like testing out this so-called necklace would have been cheaper than these secret robot disguises that didn't even work, as we literally got caught by the IMP gang almost instantaneously, right? Like, what? So ultimately, all in all, while I am interested in how the demon necklace will play into future expedited episodes, I also personally believe that introducing this so-called necklace within this short felt way too out of place. Like, why did it take some random anime weeb girl for us to learn about this so-called powerful necklace, and not, I don't know, a multi-billion-dollar anti-demon agency group that's also teamed up with heaven angels? And not to mention the fact that after Blitzo killing this girl, doesn't even bother to try and retrieve this powerful demon artifact? Like, hello, Blitzo, this is a powerful demon necklace that if learned about by more people out out there and used by the masses could potentially put you and your IMP crewmates' business in massive jeopardy. Like, surely you shouldn't, I don't know, maybe retrieve it for research purposes so you can utilize your newly acquired crystal magic abilities to, I don't know, learn how to counter its protection. Like, come on now, writers. I know you all love to make Blitzo stupid from time to time, but this is a little bit overkill. Not to mention his collecting of this demon repellent gem for research purposes could add some further interesting plot steering and exposition for future episodes, therefore helping to introduce some future character growth and development from Blitzo, with it contrasting from him once being a below novice demon spellcaster that once struggled to open up basic demon portals to a now highly experienced and threatening demon mage that can now counter forces used against him. Like, again, writers, you really missed an opportunity here to implement some highly productive main character future development. But overall, that set aside, when it comes to the overall theme of this short being how Blitzo is essentially killing a 20-something-year-old teenage girl for essentially something that they did according to their client, basically shipping two fictional characters in an Alabama-style blood-related relationship almost 7+ years ago. So it's essentially when she was 13. It's basically just a subtle reference to when people essentially bring up things that like influencers like VivziePop or any content creator in general did when they were like immature teenagers, and then use that as like a reason for disliking them as individuals, which again, I don't necessarily disagree with, as obviously if it's a teenager that's a content creator that does something stupid, assuming it's not a serious crime, of course, I'm gonna be more lenient on them than if I'm, you know, in the same situation if they were, of course, a fully grown adult over 21, but like, we didn't really need to dedicate a 4-minute-ish short to something that's like pretty much 99% of the viewers already know. Like, this isn't rocket science, folks. Like, we didn't need a 4-minute short just to deliver a message as simple as that. Like, bro, this could have taken like, what, maybe 10 to 15 seconds out of an episode? Like, bro, we don't need it to encompass the theme of an entire short. Like, what? But overall, all of the initial criticism and coverage aside, let's get into breaking down the Stolitz conspiracy.
That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard!
Overall, when it comes to the discussion surrounding the possible return of the Stolitz ship, while I'm not necessarily gonna say that it's 100% unreasonable or improbable, I see this as rather unlikely, as when it comes to the similarities regarding the demeanors and behaviors of the obsessive Weeaboo girl when compared to the way Stolas behaved and treated Blitzo throughout their relationship, the only behaviors that I see exonerated throughout both partners or in comparison would be ones that encourage Blitzo to keep away from ever getting back towards Stolas or any partner that acts like this, such as being called demeaning and unwanted names.
Especially that sexy little one there. Yoo-hoo, Blitzy.
Oh, fuck me.
My darling Blitzy!
Just say my name right, fucking dick!
Make it quick, my demon prince! My Blitzy-coon! I'm here, Blitzy-coon!
And most importantly, the idea of the other party out of nowhere coming to like outlandish conclusions about the other partner wanting to like get it on with them.
A demon here to steal a little kitten like me? Or to be part of your demonic harem blushes?
Yes, you were here to ravish me, weren't you?
You?
So ultimately, all in all of these themes kind of encompass the impossibility that the Stolitz ship really would make a return, as the only real way I could ever see this happening would be like a result of some Stockholm Syndrome type method, where Blitzo, as a result of being somewhat gaslit or uncomfortably followed by this newly deceased Weeaboo girl in the Hellverse, might like be gaslit into thinking that surely this type of experience from other partners is normal in relationships, or think, hey, maybe the way Stolas mistreated me in our relationship wasn't that bad, or as an alternative possibility, Blitzo might end up asking for Stolas' help against this newly obsessive Weeaboo individual, and as a result of receiving this assistance, might decide to give Stolas as a partner a second chance at things, but with apology tour establishing that Stolas has found another partner to be with at the anti-Blitzo party, the possibility of these outcomes even partaking seems really unlikely and would probably create a bunch of newly created challenging like plot holes to fill in, because obviously this new better than Blitzo party individual isn't gonna just be tossed away like a ton of bricks rather easily, which while granted could potentially open up new scenarios for their future episodes, such as Blitzo and Stolas, you know, conflicting with this better than Blitzo individual, or this guy teaming up with Verosica or some other anti-Blitzo individual within Hell, or maybe even Stolas kind of like receiving his comeuppance by, you know, maybe him, you know, end up getting turned on and having him come to the conclusion that his treatment towards Blitzo, some of it was wrong or out of line, and thus properly fessing up and giving Blitzo the genuine apology and promise to reform he ever so wanted, or nonetheless essentially have Stolas have another new individual who wants to have him be gladly dead. But even then, the process of being forced to jump over so many perplexed hurdles in order to reach an outcome like that seems way too much of an hassle for a writing team to really plan out, given that the next season 2 episodes coming out in like approximately a month's time. But nonetheless, it's not like 1% probability outcomes haven't happened within history before, so I guess we simply just have to wait for time to tell us the appropriate answer. But anyways, that set aside, let's establish my final thoughts.
Game over!
Overall, when it comes to this short, while I don't necessarily believe in the Stolitz foreshadowing conspiracy theory, as to me personally it seems like an unnecessary hurdling challenge for the writing team to be forced to tackle, but given that Has Been Hotel Season 1 has somewhat tried to display, you know, the concept of an unhealthy or unbalanced manipulative relationship to a relatively successful degree, there could theoretically be a possibility that the writers may tackle the gaslighting effects of a Stockholm Syndrome happening to Blitzo due to him experiencing this similar disregard of feelings or unhealthy treatment and obsession that he faced from this girl, striking a similar likeliness to the things he experienced and felt from Stolas as a partner. But this could theoretically be, you know, a interesting challenge for the writers to endure that, you know, without a doubt, you know, would receive a lot of, you know, appreciation and appraisal from fans and critics if done successfully. But overall, that conspiracy theory, you know, discussed, while I'm not really too big of a fan of the writers establishing this new demon repellent gem out of nowhere, as obviously I do understand that they're trying to establish the whole like Superman's Kryptonite dilemma, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, don't get me wrong, as this potential gem could open up new challenges for our IMP gang if this crystal, you know, gains increased knowledge by, you know, notorious Blitzo enemies. You know, this would open up a bunch of challenges for them, but it felt rather out of place in such a short runtime. Like, definitely this could have been way more better to have been put in an actual like 20-minute long episode rather than just a 4-minute short. But overall, establishing this new Kryptonite, like, you know, power that the heroes will have to probably face off against isn't exactly a bad thing, as this will allow our writers to, you know, experiment with some more themes for their newer future episodes. But overall, you know, in terms of, you know, this short, I would probably give it a strong 6.5 out of 10. Probably lower than Mission Antarctica, but definitely higher than Hell's Bells. But nonetheless, all my criticisms and appraisals aside, that's gonna of course rightfully conclude this video. If you like this review, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and turn on post notifications so you're notified of my review of the latest Season 2 Episode 10 of Helluva Boss when that comes out. But also share this review around with your friends. But that set aside, I'll see you guys next time. Peace!